بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions the incident when Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam were building the Kaaba, constructing the Kaaba. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes their dua. He says, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. So here there's 2 points. The first point is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions this verse. So before you go to the dua, before that, He says وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَفَعَ يَرْفَعُ. It's like, oh no, it's a verb, isn't it? فعل فاعل. It's فعل يرفع. And who's the fa'il? إبراهيم. مفعول به is القواعد. Correct? من البيت. You do من البيت later on. But then what comes afterwards? وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. Why is it marfu? وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. It's fa'il as well. So you have the first fa'il, Ibrahimu, and we have that in Ismailu. Correct? What do you have in between? Maf'ul bihi and qawa'id. You also find a similar structure in the end of surah, the first وَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ بَنِيهِ وَيَعْقُوبُ. Correct? So you have the fa'il, وَصَّى, فعل, verb, the fa'il, بَنِيهِ, and then you have Yaqub at the end. So what's the benefit of this ta'khir? Why you bring the space in between? Yes, your teacher. Yes? Selling point, make sure everybody comes after Ramadan. So make sure nobody leaves in Ramadan. So the Mufassirun, only Allah knows this, He's the full wisdom. But the Mufassirun reflect on one point is to show adab. Who's the elder between Ismail and Ibrahim and Ismail? Ibrahim is the father. So even though both father and son were constructing the Kaaba together, helping each other, you mentioned the father separately, like give him maqam. And then afterwards, you say, Ismail. Similarly, وَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ بَنِيهِ. So you have Ibrahim, they gave advice to his children that stay on this tawheed. وَيَعْقُبَ. And Yaqub also gave the same advice, but separate them. So it's also very important. So these things I mentioned, I remember that these things are very important. Adab, how we speak, how we converse, the choice of words, it's all part of the Quran. It's not just like some cultural thing. This is Islam teaches us these things. These things mentioned in the Quran, but subtle. All these things are isharat and points mentioned in this. Respect for our elders, parents, grandparents, uncles, elder brother. So all this is very important. And back to the main point you have here is the idea of making dua. They said, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا. So after an amal, you don't just become mutma'in. Alhamdulillah, then the amal. Why are they making dua? رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا. So along with the wujud of the amal, that you bring the action into existence, you do the amal, you also have to worry about what? It's being qabul. So remember this. So, but you have to remember that qabul, so the main thing is qabul, that the action is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But acceptance only comes about on the action. If there's no action, you can't have qabul. It's like you paint, where are you going to paint? If you got a bucket of paint, I said paint here in the middle of the room, so we can't paint anything. No, there's nothing to paint. So think of ikhlas and qabul as a paint. You have to build a wall first, and then put the paint on. If you don't build a wall, say, oh, the wall's not going to look good without the paint. I don't have paint, don't build a wall. So you can never paint it. So never leave an action thinking, oh, it may not be accepted. You do the action. So the wall is there, and it's sometime, not now, not like we have a bit lazy. So the wife says, paint the room, paint the gate. We said afterwards, we'll do it later on. No, you get a bit lazy. So we say we paint it later on. So even as long as the gate's there, you can paint it in it sometime. It's there, the gate's there, it's working, isn't it? We'll paint it later on. So it's not qabul in our wives' eyes. They say, no, you have to paint the wall properly, paint the gate properly. So it's not maqbool. But at least it's there in the gate. Then 10 years time, we get the tawfiq to do it, we'll paint it. So now, it's not maqbool. The wife says, now it's qabul. Yes? So similarly, in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you keep trying to do the amal. Once the amal is there, then you can put the paint on it. So keep the amal, but along with it, don't leave it there. Like it's just rusty, broken, you have to paint it eventually. Yes? But without the action, so never leave an action thinking, oh, it may not be accepted, it might be riyah, what if it's not, don't worry about that. That's from shaitan. You do the wujud. And if you just, oh, I done the amal, and full stop, that's also from shaitan. Also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do the amal, like what they do, يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيل. It's hal. What happens to the hal and dhul hal? It's like, oh Allah, this Ramzan is, we have holidays from where it's dhul hal and hal come same time, isn't it? جَاءَ زَيْدٌ رَاكِبًا. I mean, Zayd came and coming in, Rakib same time, isn't it? Yes? Or, جَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ إِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. They came to their father crying, meaning crying at the same time as coming. So, يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنْ بَيْتِ Ismail. They were lifting the yarfa'u, they were lifting the bricks, putting everything. And at the same time they were saying, taqabbal. Meaning, same time. You do amal, and why about ikhlas and qabul. So that's the thing he's mentioning here, that both of these things have to come hand in hand. Understood?